on a day in and day out basis, I had taken what was a 4 or 5, whereas for a good solid 2 months during the program, I think I was free of pain and mental anguish. It's been game changing.
Tell me about what's been going on with the hips, with the body, with the back, with everything. Give me the update.
I continue to make improvements, and I think overall, as I reflect on the last 12 weeks or so, just the freedom of knowing or believing that I know what my issues were, to learn how to use my hips and to gain some awareness of my hips, the mobility, flexibility, and the strength of my hips. And I think as I've sort of gained more awareness of my hips, I realize, okay, whether I'm bending to get something on the ground, whether I'm playing golf, whether I'm throwing a ball, hitting a tennis ball, whatever it is, I need to use my hips and have some greater interaction with the ground. From the activities of daily living all the way to playing sports and doing athletic things that I like to do, it feels as though that awareness has helped. And then the addressing that, obviously treating it, improving it, perhaps the number one thing that I really benefited from over the last couple of months. So I've learned now, I've started to, when I walk, when I'm walking with my wife, I walk differently. I have different pressure on my feet. I can engage my hips. I know how to find them if I'm having any stress in my lower back. I know that I'm getting lazy and immediately that changes. So a diagnostic process to be able to go, okay, I know what's wrong, why it's wrong, and how to do different is powerful. And it's mental. I think I've been beaten up for a couple of years, as I'm sure most of your students have. Just that freedom of thought of knowing, I know what's wrong and I can do something about it.
That's cool. It sounds like one of the big things that's happened in the past couple of months is a lot more self-awareness. It sounds like you got.
I think when I work out through your program, it's brought it to light. And now there isn't any level of concern because I'm like, okay, now I sort of get the movement.
In terms of pain, back when we started to where you got at your best point, what's the change there?
I haven't had any acute issue. On the chronic side of things, on a day in and day out basis, I had taken probably what was a 4 or 5, whereas for a good solid 2 months during the program, I think I was free of pain and mental anguish. It's been game changing. And I'm going to turn 50 this year. I want to live long and healthy and I want to be active. So it's going to take some effort. Learning about oneself is, I believe, and I'm sure you do, is part of the journey.
It's not just about longevity, just how long you live, but what is the quality of all of those days, months, and years. So it's not lifespan, it's health span. How healthy can you be for how long? How can you be a badass, healthy 100-year-old who can still kind of move and has some range of motion, a little bit of strength, and can do you're functional in your older years. And I have aspired to that since I was in my 20s, which is a weird thing to be thinking about when you're in your 20s. But for whatever reason, I always was I want to be the grandpa running on the track, lifting weights, stretching. That's totally my aspiration. It sounds like you're right there on that same track. So I'm right there with you.
Being able to do what I love to do, as you said, as I get a little bit older, I want to be able to hopefully be able to enjoy some of that.
And what I call an inevitability factor. It's a factor that I put in place, which is going to make me more consistent. I'm going to learn things. I'm going to be accountable to staying consistent and all that. That basically will help you step into the next chapter with a mountain of support behind you. How can you make it impossible to fail? Basically, that's the game.
For me, I feel better when I work out. I need it to feel better mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically. My day's better after I work out 100% of the time. That's a good check mark for me.